Good morning, everybody. Welcome to this class. I'm really looking forward to showing you some of the ideas that we've got. Let's say a big hello to everybody. Good morning, everyone. How are you? There you go. It's good to see you all. Lots of familiar faces, which is lovely. Thank you very much. So this is the last of the live Zoom classes that we're doing like this, because what we've been doing is recording them for you so that they're available for you to watch right at the very, very beginning. So you don't have to wait anymore for the education, which I think is an amazing way of working. So what I'm going to do is, first of all, I'd just like to take you through some of the boards that we had and just talk to you in a bit more detail about why we do what we do. So first of all, on these, not only does it give you an idea of what you're actually purchasing, but also a little bit of inspiration. And if you imagine that were, for instance, on the side of this book as a panel, it would look really quite stunning and leave us with the opportunity to just put a small verse here. And in fact, one of the next things that's on my product development list is to bring you some little tiny sentiments that we could stamp onto our projects. Now, all of these elements are so useful, not just in this collection, but in all of the collections you've got. These are little pieces that are just going to tuck in. They're the innocent little pieces of foliage that don't mean very much, but they absolutely finish off the design. And you can see what I mean here, where you've got the bird cage. It's got that little open door. And to make this door as sturdy as we have, what I've done is stuck two of them together. So die cut the door separately, cut two of them, laid them on top of each other to give us that extra little bit of movement, and then built the foliage all around it. And I've kept the base here where all the main detail of the design springs from. I've kept that so that it's just inside that bottom edge, and then you've got the foliage growing up and inside the bird cage. Here, another example of how that lovely lavender would sit so perfectly if it were actually on the edge of the book there. That would just look fabulous. But the other thing about this is, don't forget, that bunch would look great just hanging from just a branch where it could be drying. It could look really exciting. And then we've got the feathers. Now here they've been used as part of a nest around the birdcage, but I'm actually going to use mine to show you how to build a wreath with them. So that's going to be one of the elements that I'm going to be doing in this class. The next part of this is the birdcage itself. So it's an interesting story because, of course, you know, we're very sensitive when we're on TV about actually putting the animals inside cages, putting them the door on here. So I've chosen to put all the budgies outside, so they're all just sitting around as if they're in an aviary, just having the best possible time. But imagine again there, you could have a smaller bunch of that lavender just hanging inside as if it's lunch for them. So there is the bird cage itself in the different sizes. And of course, our coloured reflections, which we all know we print out and then put the die over the top. And now we get on to the book. Now, this part of it is really, really interesting. So this is the main body of the book itself, and it's actually the book cover. And if I take this page and I just line it up with the bottom of this is the spine of the book. I line it up. This area here is the area that would be the spine, and that defines it by this shape at the bottom. Then you've got a number of different pages that are all going to sit on top. And the idea here is that you can attach them at the centre, you can give them a little bit of shape so we can get dimension. But also the other thing that we can do, and we did those in multiple sizes for you, so you could get layering up, maybe different colours of cardstock, or actually, I think they look great with paper. And then this one was done so that you can take one of the sizes that we've just been looking at, cut that out of one of the larger sizes, and it gives you this frame round the outside edge. Now, you could be using that on a card blank in its own right and just taking each of these elements and treating them like pages. So bringing in your bird cage, maybe some other floral decoration to the side, or cutting this multiple times and layering it up actually onto the card blank itself. And I just want to talk to you about how you do that if you're working on your cutting plates. So first of all, we know that, I'm just reaching my plates here. So we've got our magnetic shim that is on the bottom plate. So that's on my 3mm plate with my Pro Cut. And my 5mm plate, which is really quite milky now, is my cutting plate. So I would take the second largest of the dies. So let me lift that one up. So it's that one. And then the second, third, fourth smallest, or fourth smallest is the best way of describing it. Now, when I put these two down and I make that frame, it's really important that the frame is going to not move when we're working. So to do that, take your frame, turn it over back to front, and just run the tape in two places. So we're going to run it down there, just gently touch that to the die, and that piece isn't big enough, it needs to be the full length. And down here, touch that to there, and then when I lift this, you should be able to lift it. Just get you there. And it will lift up. Oops, just get underneath that piece of tape. There we go, I've got it. And it's now, I'm just going to get that bit there. It's now one piece. And that then goes on here. Your cardstock goes on the top. And this, you should be able to peel your cardstock back from that, and you can cut multiples of these, layer them up and get a little bit of depth to the design, and that works really, really well. So make sure that you stick it down those two sides. Don't put any tape across the middle areas or either of these because it's not necessary. Okay, so that was one little tip I just wanted to share with you. Excuse me, I've got one of those horrible bugs that's going around at the moment. And then this panel here, these are our score lines and this is our cut line. So I'm going to show you that. I've got a lot of it cut here ready to actually share. In fact, let me get on to, I'll show you that part of it now. So basically, we've cut our shape that we've got here. Then I'm going to take this die, position it over the top of the panel, and what's important is to check this measurement here, top and bottom, so you know exactly where it's going to fit, and it will cut like this. Now, one of the things you can do, and you can use your scoreboards for this, everybody, is you can fold this panel in half, and because I'm not using my scoreboard, it's not wanting to give me a straight line, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to score it with this die. So I'm just going to run that die down the middle there. Okay, so I've just scored that. So you get that crease in the right place. And then to make sure that you're lining everything up properly, because you can see there I've got a difference with the two panels. I actually used two different dies. So what I did was I took this one and placed that die there, and then I took the smaller version of it and placed it there. But if you want them both identical, once you've cut that one, if you fold your design in half, or beg your pardon, it's that one. If you fold your design in half and use a pokey tool to just pierce the card on the other side, you can get an accurate position so that when you place that one on, it's in exactly the same place. Then you open it up and cut it like that. So that's a quick way, a quick cheats way of not having to do all that measuring. But that book die we should be using a lot because it is so easy to work with and gives us lots of variety. And then our choices for things that we can do. Well, we can put our decorative pages on here and get some background with it, which is a great way of working. We can put the frame on, and just to lift this up because this one's got a little bit squished. So I just fold that frame in so it gives me that bit of dimension that we want there. So you can see that's lifting it up. I'll do the same on this side. And I've got a lovely frame that I can then fill with my design. And there's nothing nicer than taking your flowers around the outside edge and having that dimension that you've got just there. So that's just a little overview again of working with that book die to get the best out of the designs that we've got. So I'm just going to push all that to one side, and I'm just going to talk to you about your book die, and we'll do a quick little demonstration on it. So I've cut lots and lots of pages. And one of the things that I did was I cut quite a few of them out of copy paper so that you've got that sort of that real book feeling of just pages being together and you being able to get torn edges with them. I like the idea of inking my edges, putting just a little bit of ink on them, or just having little pieces torn away and so that you could see parts of the pages behind them. So it was a great way. Photocopy paper is the best thing. So I'm talking about 80 GSM, nothing heavier. In fact, the lighter weight that you have, the better. And of course, don't forget, you could also be using striped paper, lined paper. That would look great. Or the other option that we can do is, and if I just share this with you for a moment, where has that gone? I had it before we started, so I know it's in here somewhere. I'll use this, I think this will do it. And one of the things that you might want to do is literally just take a marker pen, and all I'm going to do is I'm using this, and I know this pen's dry, I think. Might have to use my angel in the sky and ask Andrew if he'll get me to get the team to get me a pen. And any dark colour of our ink lily pens, I think. Yeah, it hasn't really shown up. I'm gonna pop this one in the bin. So we'll get an ink lily pen. We'll get that on its way, and I'll show you that little tip because it is quite effective. And I remember last week, I'll just tell you this quickly. So David has a new notebook. So you know the lovely David who does Cadence on TV for us, and he does Minecraft Studio and Tattered Lace and lots of other brands. He had the prettiest book, and I just couldn't help admiring it. And I said to him, have you got a new notebook? And he said, oh yeah, I had to buy this. And he bought it in a garden centre. And it was a William Morris book with the pattern on the front, and inside it was just lined paper. But the thing that really, it's lovely, Mel's come in to give me a thing. Say hello, Mel.
Hello, Mel.
No, hello, everybody. No, honestly, she's a mischief today. And she's got off giggling. The reason that I wanted to show you this was I saw this on David's notebook, and the edges of his pages were red. And I thought, oh my gosh, that'd look so good when we card making. So what you do is you take your little finger and you support the page with your finger, because we're going to run this just along this page. Like this. And once you get used to it, get a bit of movement going. But look, you could get an edge to it. And of course, David's book had all of the pages done. So they were all edged in red. And it looked fab. So look at what I've just done. You can actually see that edging now there, can't you? So you got an edge to all of your pages. So I just wanted to share that with you because I thought it was such a nice thing for us to be able to do on the edges of our paper, that just so that when it was closed like that, you would see all that colour. So just a little idea for you. Okay, right, so all that to get that. Okay, right, let's talk about how we make this frame, and I want to just give you a couple of little ideas on this as well. So first of all, when it's cut, the frame is scored twice. So I've got a score line there and I've got another score line there. First thing that I'm going to do is fold back and utilise that first score line. And then the second one, I'm going to fold back on itself. So I've got sort of like this little concertina thing going on, which is gets me to the first stage. So fold back, fold forward. So we've created this little concertina element. Now what you can do then, and we didn't show you this on TV, which is why I want to show you now, is I can put a little door on there, so I can have that as an opening door. So and the way that this would work, and I'm going to need 2 doors, so I need, because I've got them in 2 different sizes, I'm just checking my door sizes. All right, fix that one, so it's those 2. So this one, again, fold out like that, fold back like that. On this side, it gets folded back there and back there. Okay, so that's the first part of it. Then the next part is this piece needs to, in fact, I'm just going to turn it. Oh, no, I'll keep on like this, otherwise I'll confuse you. Right, so I'm just going to turn this one back on itself, so it's like that. And I'm going to turn this one on this side back on itself, so it's like that. So basically what you've got is you've got a hinge towards the centre, and we've got a frame, which you can see there, towards the back. And if I turn it over, you can see they're the 2 back panels, they're the 2 hinges. And the way that this works, we take some tape or wet glue, whatever you prefer, and we place that over that hinge. And I like to use red liner tape because it helps you see where I'm going with it. And we pose it like that, just there. It's my tape on both sides. Now just going to take off the carrier, which, use the tweezers, it'll be happier. So that's the first one. So I'm just sliding the tweezers under that tape to lift it. There. Then I take my 2 frames and I need to line that edge up with the edge there. Okay, so that's going to go like that. So I've made myself a door. And this one, same, checking it's at the edge, press that down. So I've now created 2 doors to go in there. So it's up to you whether you decide to do them the same size or you do a larger one and a smaller one, as I've done here. But then I can take one of my pages. So let's say, for instance, I've got a few paper pages, or I've got a fabric one, cardboard one, I beg your pardon, cardboard one, a vellum one, or paper pages. I can take that along with the base, which I've got here, because remember my base is a slightly different shape. Where are you? All my bases have gone. So I'm going to need to use this one. I'm just going to deassemble this one. So I'll take, that base, that page over there, that panel over there. So I've got all 3 of them layered up, And then when I look inside, I've got my pictures just there. So we're creating our storybook tale. And then what we could do then is decorate the front of this with whatever panels, whatever flowers we wanted. And it's going to give us a really lovely picture that when we open it up, you've got a whole story inside. And I just wanted to share this with you. And because we've turned this frame, let me put some glue on this so I can really show you the impression of how much depth that you're going to get. So I'm just going to catch that at the top and the bottom there. And I'll just show you this because I want to be able to lift it up and really share with you. So I know when we did this on TV, we showed you the frames, we showed you tucking it in, but we didn't show you with the doors. And I just think the doors are such a clever way of you getting even more out of this die. And especially as when I show you it like that, you can see that you've still got that depth, that side. And this side we don't. This one would go flat, but that's absolutely fine because the door itself will still give you that dimension. So you're still getting that look and feel of the book with the pages opening, but we've managed to put our little doors on it as well. So just another way of being able to use that project and make the most of it, because I think that's really quite useful. Okay, right, I want to share with you making a feather wreath. So I'm just going to take my piece of foam on a roll, and this is going to be my template. I've got here lots of feathers. In fact, I cut, Sam helped me with this, we cut one whole sheet of feathers. So you've got lots of different sizes, lots of different shapes because they go in different directions. And you've got all the smaller ones as well. So we've got 4 of these to start with. And so I've got 4 of that size, I've got 4 of that size, and then I've got all the other spares. And the fastest way of us doing this, I'm just going to get this glue moving down here. Just coming down. Oops. Who saw that? Nobody, did you? Didn't see it, did you? Oops. Get rid of that. Andrew spent this morning, he spent a good hour cleaning up glass mats, and David was in trouble. Right, so we've got 4 of these. Okay, so I've got those 4 like that. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little dot just there, and that is going to attach. Then we get another little dot just there, and that one is going to attach. So it's right on the tip that it catches. So like that. Once you've got these done, you can work without the circle, but it just helps you get the shape to begin with. Last little bit, just there. There, right, now pull you back in. Pull that one back. So to there, and to there and there. Okay, so that's my first part of my design. Okay, right. The second part of it goes this way, and it comes right out here. So that one's going to go there. That one's going to go there. That one is going to go there. And that one, so I need to spread them out a bit more. So to there, and to there. So you can see how you're spreading it out. Now that's dry. I can work on my mat. But it's much easier to get that shape if you utilise a ring to start with. So this one is going to go just here. Let's get a little bit of this glue coming out. Just being careful because I've cut into the nozzle and I don't want it to actually come out too quickly. So I'm letting it come out and stand out. I now know roughly where I need that bit of glue to go. So we'll come that way and that way. So I've made it like that. Right, now all we need to do now is fill in. So, but what I do is I make a little bunch at this point. So come here, there. I need, because I've got all, remember I cut them all, so I know I've got I've got 4 of every design. So another one here, another one here. So there, and where are you? That last one is there. That fills in that bit. Then we go just here, and I'm going to fill in there. So I've got the shape coming. Bit more wet glue, wet glue, wet glue. You can be quite generous with the wet glue because it will start to dry as, just let that one open up a little bit. Oh, there we go. So what I'm doing is I'm making, in my head, I'm creating the pattern that I'm going to be filling in. And it looks quite unusual when you start, but it works. Okay, so that's the start of the wreath. Then I go into the next little lots of flowers that I've got. You've got to decide where we're going to go with these. I'm going to put these ones in the middle here. I'll pop these in here. So I'm shaping them up a little. Let's shape up here a little. And we'll shape there a little. So I've started to fill in that gap. Now I'm going to go this way. So I'm going to fill in, so a little bit of glue there, glue, glue. So those first 4 leaves are actually like creating the ring of a wreath. They're the first part that you utilise to create the ring. So you can see how it's starting to build and come together. So we go here. And while I'm doing this, I'm going to just tell you about a couple of things that we've got happening at Academy, which I'm super excited about. So this will be the first time that I've actually told anybody, but we have, see how that's starting to come together now? Right, so we are going to be doing what we're calling a festival. And the festival is going to take place from the 7th to the 16th of August. And we are going to run 4 classes a day for that festival. And it's going to be £10 a class, but that includes your lunch. And what you will do is you will come and actually try 4 different projects. So you're going to actually be able to have a little taster of 4 different projects in a day. And the second day, so what we're going to do, we're going to be repeating 2 days worth over a 10-day period. So day 1 and day 2 will be different. Day 3 and day, yes, odd days will be the same, even days will be the same. Andrew, I'm wrong. I do need to get that medicine, please. Thank you. So can you see how this is filling in now, how we're starting to get that shape? And then I've got these little ones. Whoops, nearly lost one. I'm going to carry on with this. So you can't pre-prepare this, because if you do, you lose track of explaining what we're doing and where everything's going. So you have to do it as you go along. And to get it as even as possible, you need to use that little tip I gave you of using the circular foam, because that makes all the difference. You see, it's really easy to just forget where you're at with this, which I nearly did just then, but then recovered it. So I'm just going to go into there. Whoops. Right, now while they are drying, you take your scissors, a pokey tool, whatever you like to roll against, and get some shape into the bigger ones, the bigger leaves here. And I've got the lovely Mel Heaton here again. And Nurse Heaton has just bought me some medicine and a teaspoon. So please excuse me 1 second while I just do this. I'm just looking, you see I've got a teaspoon. Actually, let's tell you the code that we've got for you. So AVDL50 gets you 50% off downloads. The additional colourways on these. So if you want to get those, please, we'll get a link in the chat and the video description for you. So that I've just lost that leaf. Where did that one go? Oh, that feather, it went there. So we've got, just given these a little tweak so that you can see. But I've pretty much done them all, I think. Right, now I want you to just see what this looks like. If I take the black away and pop that on white, look at how pretty that is. Now I haven't finished it because I've still got another leaf that would go in that could go just there. But that's how you're going to build up the wreath. You're going to start with the big leaves at the bottom, big feathers at the bottom, then put the next ones on, and you're just going to build it so that it builds like this and gives you that lovely feather. Then we can go in and we can either sit our little budgie in amongst them. So he's in there, which looks super cute. We can take our flowers and we can build a little bouquet. Now, if I were building a bouquet for this, I would not go all the way round. I would just be concentrating on that bottom left-hand corner or top right-hand corner. And we would just be tucking these in, getting a little bit of dimension with them, and building up the little bouquet and the florals just like that, and leaving all of the feathers to tell their own story. So these are all nestled just amongst the feathers, giving us that little bit of detail that we like, which I think works really well. So that was another idea I wanted to share with you for a few minutes. These make lovely sun catchers as well. And then finally, I want us to work with our bird cage. Now, I've still got a couple of pieces in this that are landlocked, so I need to just get rid of those pieces, which that's them gone. And up here, I've got some. And I purposely didn't push them out because I didn't want to lose them, because these pieces here, I'm going to save those. Where are you? Let's get you out. There's one. And that one didn't want to come, but I've got it out. And that one. Right, so this is going to become my bird perch, like that. So that's a little perch that I'm going to put on. And then these pieces, you can make it so that, and I saved two of them over here. Where are they? Oh, there's one. So what we can do is we can make ourselves a little perch, so, or a little swing. So we go glue, glue, glue. You take that one like that one like that. And just get that in the glue. Tiny little bit of glue up there. And they're going to cross over like that. Oh, do you know, Fiona's just said she might give it a go and put it in a frame. I think that's a great idea. That's a really good idea, Fiona. You must send us what you make. So I just need this one to catch. It's just catching now. Got a little bit of white excess card behind it there. So I want about the same length on each side. So I'm going to trim that off. Then going to take my little budgie, can have him on the swing. So he's the smallest size. Got medium size or a larger one, but I think he works best because he looks like he should be there. Okay, so put him like that. Okay, and then what I've got is I've got another one. That's the same one, isn't it? That's just white. And I'm going to put my glue all over this one, sandwich him behind so that it is super strong, and then move his paw so his paws are right down there, which means I just need to pull that piece of the swing out. So there we've made him a little swing. Okay, so you can see he's there. Now he can sit inside the cage like that. And this one can sit over the top, so he can be literally, or you can leave it so it's open. So you're just as if you're looking right through the cage, which is what I'm going to do. This little bit needs attaching, and I attach it right up here. So take that, and it gets attached up there. And the reason that I want it quite high is, first of all, I want the door to be clear, but also I want this room to be able to put some flowers. So I've just made him his little perch there. Okay. Now I've got loads of flowers, and I'm choosing to use the little roses that we've got here. And you could see this, you could put a little brad up there. And I'm going to put this here. And what I'm just going to do is build this up. And I've got my glue gel ready to share with you how I would do this. So this is where I'm going to use my glue gel. So I've already shaped this little rose a tiny bit. And I've already prepared this one to go behind. So I'm using that as my dimension. And I'm then going to put a tiny little bit along the edge of the frame that I've got here. And using all the small little buds that you've got and the little flowers, so I'm going to tuck that one in behind, and I'm going to come right up here with this one, and I'm using the frames and as the guide. So I've got my glue gel is holding all of this together, and it's quite heavy in this part, but that's fine, that's how we want it. We're then going to take another part into here, so you can see how pretty this is starting to look. I've got a small rose that I've just shaped that will go just there. And then these tiny buds. And I have to say, they are small, but they are absolutely worth putting on. And all you need to do is touch them into the glue gel. So this is the technique. You take the flower and you literally slide it across the glue gel. And then you can just touch that in like that. I'm taking a couple more of them And I mean, this is so pretty, Victorian, elegant, stylish. Just leaves, the same thing. Run those across the back of your glue gel. Get that little bit of dimension that you've got. You can see it's super easy and clean to work with. I'm just going to tuck that one round so I've got the bud coming up here. Want some more of this leaf just tucked underneath there. So imagine coming here and doing 4 classes in a day and lunch, and I know some of you have already been, and I think we sort of try and do the best to spoil you at lunchtime. Being able to do some shopping if you wanted to, but that's, you know, that's just an optional extra for you. But coming and learning 4 different classes in a day, and it only costs you, well, we're working it out, it's going to cost, after lunch, it's going to cost about £7 a class. That is crazy value for money. But we are only going to have 10 people in each class, and we're only doing 4 classes a day. So if you are interested, there is already a registration form online for you to be able to put your detail. Right, now this bit's important. So you can see I've got my little budgie there. I'm just going to get him out so he's not stuck behind. I'm now going to put some flowers behind the bird cage. So it's a little bit of glue on there. That's got to go behind like that. So we're filling in this little bit of the corner. Yes, so there will only be 40 places a day, and that's not negotiable. I can't squeeze 42 in. That's the way it's got to be. So if you are interested, there is a little form that you can register your interest, and it's called the Highlight Craft Festival. Okay, so you can see here the detail that we've got and how I've built that up, and look at how dimensional it is. It really looks quite lovely. I'm just going to trim off that little bit of the budgie's perch because I've got a little bit of wet glue on it and I don't want it. So I'll trim it off there, make his perch a little bit smaller. So that's the design that I wanted to create. And then this is going to would go and hang inside one of these beautiful apertures. So there it would hang like that across that aperture, and it looks so delicate. Really is very, very pretty and detailed. To attach this, I would use wet glue up here. So my wet glue would go there. Okay, and I don't know if you've seen it, but we've got this little stand die that we've developed, and my wet glue now needs to go on that edge there. So anywhere where this is touching the frame, this frame, I'm putting glue. So I've got a little bit of glue there and a bit of glue there. So that is holding together. And then we turn this over. That die was called, it was a special stand die. I'm trying to remember the name of it. It's quite a recent one that we've just done, but it's so useful. So that's that bit done. Then you go back to your first frame, and we need to get this glue in the right place. So I'm just sliding the nozzle around the elements of the frame, all across that base, up the bars of the cage. So they're going to go up these. All of it always glue on the front, and then that goes over the top of the frame that you could see there. Just going to push that in place. So I'm going to turn it over to make sure that I've got everything glued. So just lining up the panels. Get the budgie out the way. I'll just wipe that glue down. Make sure it's all. So I've made it really, really durable now. You can see, look how durable that is. Then this part gets, I love it when we do cards that look this exciting, because the results that you get are really interesting, and you can share these and you're just going to get really lovely results. So let's go from there. So use your scoreboard because it'll be more accurate, unless you've got a really good eye for straight lines, which that one's just started to go off a little bit. There. So that's the front of it. So there's my card. Now, if I've done it right, and I have, when I was putting the roses on the, so this is my greeting card. When I was putting these roses on, I didn't worry that these came over the edge. But what I'm just going to share with you is there is the base of the card actually sitting on the straight line. So I've still got a couple of roses left, and I'm going to be using them to support this arch that we've got there. So I'm just going to tuck them in here. And I tend to do this towards the end when I know exactly where they need to go, and that's where the place where that one needs to be. So then when I stand it, my little budgie will move. There's my card, and I've got my detail and my design inside. So where do we put our message? Well, first of all, the other thing that I want to share with you is I cut that front frame twice so that I double layer it so that the front card is nice and strong, and it's got that there. So I'm just going to do that now, and let's make this super strong. So I'm just going to trim this. This will be too big, but I'll make it smaller as I finish. So I'm going to start off, I'm going to put you could use it foam on a roll if you wanted to get some depth to the frame. You could cut a different size apertures. All we need to do is strengthen the front. We've strengthened the back considerably by using the second of the budgie cages. So I'm just going to pop that on for there for a moment. And let's let that dry. Do need to just make it level on this side. Just there. Please use your guillotine because yours will be much neater. So let's get that there. So that's my frame now. So I've got that much, much sturdier, as you can see. And my sentiment, I would place like this. And I would have it written on the little swash that goes across, and I would put a little ribbon across the front with love, happy birthday, and then maybe even have your little budgie with a little mini card like that, folded in half, and him just holding a little mini card for you with a message just inside. So that little mini card he would be holding in his beak or in his paws, and you can just tuck that under there. And he's got a little mini card that's got the message of happy birthday written in miniature in there, and that's the card. And I'm just going to stand this up and let you see how sturdy it is despite all that movement and everything else we've got. But isn't that just lovely? What a great way of using your bird cages and creating something really special. Now, it's been an absolute pleasure to share these ideas with you. And don't forget, using your book differently, using your feathers to make a wreath, and more than that, using it to do these beautiful aperture cards. It's the kind of thing we don't get to teach you on TV, but we have more time when we do these classes. So use the code AVDL50. It'll get you 50% off all the extra colourways and the downloads on the website, and there's loads of them. Don't forget, register your interest for our academy, where we are going to do that very, very special festival, because it is going to be limited. It is only running for 10 days, and you've got the opportunity, if you do want to travel and come and stay in one of the local lovely B&Bs or the Premier Inn, to come up to the beautiful Derbyshire, up to the Dales and make a holiday of it, then we would absolutely love to see you. And it gives you the chance to have a taste of this gorgeous academy at a very affordable price. So until next time, everybody, I'd just like to have one last little plug and let you know that tonight I am painting for you, and I'm going to be doing my regular free painting class. So please join me. Andrew, are we starting at 5:30? At 5:30, everyone, I'm going to be painting some new brush strokes for you. I'd love you to join me, even if it's just for a quick hello. See you all soon. Lots of love. God bless everyone. Thank you for your time. If you want to see more from Highlight Crafts, make sure you click the like button. Subscribe by clicking the subscribe button below, and click the bell icon to receive notifications of all of our future content. You can also click here to see our latest video, or click here to see more videos like this one.